Hey everybody, I'm Mark Herman. I am back with my dishonest eyes, according to that one commenter. I wanted to answer a few more of your questions and put out a call to see if there's any more that you have now that some more time has elapsed since the final experiment and since my video itself. First of all, I want to thank Max Dandry, if I'm pronouncing that right, for giving us all these plaques. Pretty cool. 3D printed is actually the first 3D printed thing that I own. I know I want to get out before the conspiracy theorists say that the dates are wrong. We were actually there until the 17th, but when he printed these, he had no way of knowing that we would have to leave a day early due to bad weather. However, I did get this certificate of achievement from ALE that does have the correct dates on it. Very nice of them. I need to get this framed, as well as my plane tickets from the journey itself. I'll cover up my frequent flyer numbers on here, but British Airways London to Santiago, and then Santiago to Punta Arenas. But of course, the best boarding pass that I have is for the flight from Punta Arenas down to Union Glacier. Seat assignment, doesn't matter. You saw there were maybe a handful or dozen of us on the plane. All right, so questions. Someone asked, someone commented on my dishonest eyes. Let's start with that one. Like I said at the last video, I am very used to being behind the camera. Me being on camera is a rarity, and I'm not super confident in it yet, not super comfortable with it. So that's something I'm working on. So thank you for making me feel more self-conscious about it. I appreciate that. Another question was, why were only 360 cameras used for the sun time lapses? That's not entirely true. Dave McKeegan had a camera with a solar filter on it on a tracking mount that was tracking along with the sun. So he was able to get some great photos and videos with that. That's available on his YouTube channel, and you can check that out for yourself. So 360 camera was just the easiest way to capture that without manually being out there and moving it around or getting a bunch of tracking mounts. And we wanted people to be able to see, which is why Will Duffy and others have uploaded unedited 360 video. You're able to look around and see, because we knew that people would accuse us of doctoring the video or doing CGI. Had no idea people would assume that we're in a giant LED wall or green screen or any of those crazy theories. But here we are. So those videos are up, unedited, not even time-lapse. If you want to sit through and watch 24 hours of 360 video and stare at the sun, you can do that. I would advise that you do something better with your time, but if you want to do it, you can do it. We put the data out there for people to do their own research. Some people in the comments are accusing me of being too nice or playing both sides. I don't know what you want from me. You want me to be a jerk? I don't want to be a jerk. I try and live a very magnanimous life. I want to understand people. I want to empathize with people. I recognize that everyone involved is a human being with thoughts and feelings and beliefs of their own, and I respect them. I respect them for their humanity and for the humility. And I expect that from people that I interact with in my life as well. So you get what you give, the golden rule, all of that. That's why I'm, I guess, too nice. Sorry. Am I a flat earther? No. I've never really been. I've worked in television for a good chunk of my life and various positions in that. One of them, I worked in master control. I would have to swing satellite dishes to downlink various TV shows. And I've worked in the field before where we have a satellite truck and we have to uplink our live footage, and, you get the list of the satellites, the coordinates, figure out everything. And there's definitely something up there. I've heard people say that satellites on a flat Earth could be on weather balloons or suspended in some sort of way. I don't really buy that because if they were on balloons, I feel like they would drift. There's really no drift. And I've also personally interacted with people who do recreational satellite downlink, and they've tracked satellites moving across the sky and had to wait for a satellite to come up over the horizon for them to acquire a signal. And once it passed overhead and beyond the opposite horizon, they lost the signal. So I've seen that with my own eyes. I've never really had any sort of flat earth beliefs. That's to say, I don't look down on people that have that belief because, like I said before, I respect people, I respect their beliefs, and I expect that from them as well. None of the flat earthers that I met on the trip were really pushy with their beliefs. Yes, they told me to investigate flat earth. We had some great discussions with some of their data points, some of my data points, but my purpose on the trip was not to change any minds. My purpose on the trip was to document it and to report back my findings to my boss, Candace Owens. And so I've told her my findings, working on an episode in the future that will delve more deeply into these sorts of things. Some people in the comments are saying that Austin gave up the game. I don't know what that means. I spent a lot of time with Austin, Jaron, and Lisbeth. Actually, I spent a lot more time with the flat earthers than the globe earthers. And everyone involved seemed like a real, genuine person, and they genuinely held these beliefs. I don't believe any of them are grifters or have malicious intent, especially on the flat earth side. And I say that because it takes a lot to put yourself out there with a belief that's so contrary to the mainstream and to defend it so vociferously as they did. And they do continue to do so. And so that leads me more to believe that they genuinely believe it, especially, like I said, I've had long discussions with them and they're not playing. They know their stuff. Someone was upset that I mentioned an impossible camera shot with the 360 camera. And that's just, I'm not saying it's a fake or generated shot. I'm saying impossible. I think I even did air quotes. Just because it's not a typical camera shot that you can get, especially as easily as I did. Let me show you this clip that I took on the plane. You can see him going over the seats. It's a very, very tricky shot to get if you don't have a 360 camera. And so that's what I call an impossible shot. You can get some really cool stuff with 360 cameras. I recently went sledding and got some great footage with that. I'm not going to share that because my family's involved, but you get the picture. Someone was very adamant that there is a large structure at the ALE camp that could have housed an LED wall or an LED volume where we faked the 24-hour sun. Let me show you this clip from the ALE YouTube channel of their tour of Union Glacier.
The staff who work here, they can fix things, they can build things, they have lots of wrenches, and the biggest tents in camp are here too.
We call it the cathedral, just because it is the biggest tent.
So you can see they have equipment that needs to be worked on. It can't be worked on out in the snow, the sun, the wind, if the weather turns. So they need a large area for them to work in. And as you can see from that video, it's not as big as you think it is. You certainly cannot fit a wraparound LED wall 360 sphere that's big enough to have our portable base camp, all of our cameras out there, and big enough for the Tucker Snowcat, the big orange machine, to drive in and out, to have the snowmobiles drive in and out. There's physically no room for that. So that is definitively busted. I personally did not go over to that portion of the camp because that was on the staff side of the camp, and I respected the rules that ALE laid out during our tour, which you can see on my unedited 360 video of the tour. So we really saw a 24-hour sun. I really got sunburned. It was kind of a pain, but it was worth it. And if you have any more questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. Like I said in my previous video, as I get more comfortable doing these sorts of things, I'll start going live and taking questions that way as well. So please subscribe, like, comment, notification, whatever all the YouTubers tell you to do, and I'll see you next time.